In the last 3 months of 2025, I produced 4 videos and, in the loosest sense of the term, 1 full-length feature film. Two of them were Jeep specific, one of them was an outdoor tool review, and another one was a Jeep accessory review. Vagrant, the hour-long video that I was just talking about, is the largest media undertaking I have ever done. I learned so much more in those 3 months than I thought I ever would, as quick as I did. It astounds me. And I'm not even talking like hard skills like this is how you edit a video and this is how you color grade. I'm talking conceptual mindset shifts. First, I need to learn my gear inside and out. Second, I need to take more pictures. And third, and last and certainly not least, I need to start making my videos by focusing on the title and the thumbnail. Now, I would like to say that I know my gear pretty well. Like 96 or 97% of the time, the content that I can create with it is good enough. You know, functionally, it is adequate. It might not be super engaging, it might not be super exciting, but it is at least inoffensive. However, something even as simple as hanging my GoPro out of the window while I'm driving is something that's not second nature to me yet. There's a lot of these little small things that I can fine-tune to try and make more engaging content that utilizes the gear I have to its fullest. This goes for slow motion, this goes for B-roll, this goes for pretty much everything that would have been in those like specific niche use cases that I wasn't using things properly before. Along those lines, my main camera, my Olympus, has menus that are difficult to learn to use on occasion anyways. Things can end up getting really buried. There's functions that I completely forgot the camera had that I had to remind myself and figure that out, and of course it was after the Vagrant project was mostly done. One of those is a 2x digital teleconverter. Now that's not super exciting, but it would counteract some things. Time lapses. There's a time lapse mode on this camera that I had no idea about because it takes about 17 button clicks to get to. There was one instance where I accidentally pushed the info button on the back of the camera and it changed the screen so I couldn't see the histogram anymore. I worked like that for an embarrassingly long time before I just decided to figure it out, and I was just guessing on the exposures. All I had to do was push the info button to change it back, and I just didn't, and it all came out fine. But once again, I'm not in the business of fine, I'm in the business of getting the shot. Hopefully, ideally. Easier said than done, of course, but knowing my gear is going to help me get to that point. The DJI Mic 3 is a great example of that. I bought it because of all of the features that it has and all of the things it can do. I almost didn't record this video because I was like, oh, I'm not going to have good audio because I broke the receiver and then my receiver went missing and I don't have a replacement for it yet. But then, like, it has internal audio recording, so sure, I have to sync it in post, but that is so worth it because the gear can do it, and it's so much better than the on-camera camera or microphone. But that is so worth it because the gear can do it, and it's so much better than the on-camera camera or microphone. Like, you wouldn't be able to get this shot of me with audio half as good with my camera all the way over there if I didn't want to use it, and it's part of the features and it's part of the reason I spent the money, so why not use it? It's these kinds of things that I'm talking about that make up that last 3 or 4% of me knowing my gear. I mean, heck, like even in the end of the Vagrant, the scene where I'm walking around in the neon signs there in St. Robert, there's a section where the mic audio cuts out because I get too far away from the receiver. Now, if I would have been using my gear properly, I could have had the other microphone on me as a backup, recording to the device. And I could have saved at least a little bit of the intelligible audio. Honestly, the GoPros and just action cameras in general were probably the biggest thorn in my side when it came to learning curves. When I first bought the GoPros, I originally went from using them all the time. Part of that was a function of that was pretty much the only camera I had other than my cell phone. But then I went to not using them at all. Pretty much the entire time in St. Robert, Missouri, I didn't use them until the Vagrant project, where then I started using them when the Olympus died. And it took me a while to get to that fine balance of using the cameras when it is actually appropriate to do so. And the problem is I still didn't really do it to the best of my ability. For example, when I was doing the walk on the Ha Ha Tonka boardwalk, I knew that taking the GoPro would be the better handheld option than me trying to do it all handheld on my Olympus. Great theory, great in concept, but the GoPro I had, the settings for the video I was taking, didn't have image stabilization turned on. So it still didn't quite work the way I wanted it to. Now, that's something that getting in the habit of checking the footage afterwards, which I'm kind of lumping in here with the getting to know my gear better, would have fixed that. Double checking the footage would have also helped me in two other instances. First, when I was at the Caney Creek Overlook, I loved that shot. That was such a beautiful shot. I didn't double check that everything was recording, and as a result, I don't have footage from that. The other time is when I was on the Wolf Ridge Trail, and I was at risk of being very stuck, and it was a very dramatic thing, and I had a lot of fun, but it could have been really, really bad, and I wouldn't have video footage of it. Now, in that case, I wouldn't have been able to, go back up the obstacle to try and take the cut again, but it would have then told me that I needed to do something to give you guys a perspective of the scale of the obstacles, because as of right now, you just have GoPro footage, and we all know how GoPro treats trails. Getting reps will really help with that too. I just haven't taken enough pictures or videos to really get into the minutia of how everything works. Now, besides that point, a photographer that doesn't take pictures is like a runner that doesn't run or a baker that doesn't bake. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. You have to do the thing in order to internalize it. And I haven't even taken enough pictures to really fully break down the mental block of calling myself a photographer. I'm not even calling myself a good photographer yet, just a photographer, and I can't even, in good faith, in good conscience, call myself a photographer. Taking good pictures is also, at a certain point, a function of taking how many pictures you've taken. I've heard that more than once, and it's not even just, the concept of the blind squirrel finds a nut and a broken clock is even right twice a day kind of thing. You take a lot of pictures, you're bound to catch one or two that are like, oh, that's pretty good. But just the practice, the repetition, the eye training, figuring out what you see that your camera might see that portrays the particular feeling and the emotion and the life of that image, so that when you take it, it's more than just an image that pops up on your screen. It's a photograph. It's something that I would be proud to call my own. Another part of it is that I just want to get in a better habit of taking pictures with everything I have with me at the time. Even if it's just as simple as I have my film camera and then I have my phone with me, taking a digital picture on the phone will give me a much better indication of what the scene looks like on a screen or in still life. That will give me a better indication of what it will look like when it's developed, and whether I need to retake the picture or whether it's good to move on. And just generally, it gives me a better idea of what I'm actually doing. So, here's my pledge to you all, is that for the entire month of March, I am going to commit to taking and posting one picture every day. Now, I'm waiting till March because then I have a nice round 31 days. So expect a video probably the second weekend of April about it, just to give me time to get film developed, because I'm sure I will take some pictures on film. And I'm still not quite sure whether I do a 31-day challenge or a weekly challenge for 4 weeks, and I focus on that weekly theme for the entire week. But I think I'm going to end up doing the B&H 31-day photo challenge. But be on the lookout for that. If you guys want to see that, make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, all the normal YouTube things. And if you're already watching this far, go ahead and watch till the end, even if you mute it, because it is that watch time that seems to be the most important metric for YouTube right now. That's why I need to start with my titles and my thumbnails, because if I can't get your guys' attention, you're not going to click on the video, which means you're not going to get watch time. Now, I'm not trying to grow the camera for having a big channel's sake, right? I am trying to build a community because I'm admittedly trying to find one here in Spokane, and it's been a struggle. My main goal is just to make it so we can all learn from each other. I don't really have any way to reach out to people to learn face-to-face in this area yet, and that might be coming, but I'm trying to build the community. So I'm not just out here trying to be a big channel for the sake of it. I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to grow, and I'm hoping that not only can you guys help me with that, but that you guys can learn something from me as well, even if it's what not to do. First off, I need to start with the title. Very first thing to do, I have a video idea. I need to put a title on that video. And what that's going to do is it's going to make me focus specifically on what I want the story to be. That helps me plan the story, that helps me plan the shots I want to get, and it helps me keep things clear and concise. If I learned anything from my time as a college professor, it's that I can wing and talk about just about anything, but it is much less effective for you guys to hear me rambling versus what the points are I actually want to talk about. It also helps me shape the story arc. What are the points of conflict? What are the points of resolution? And how does this all impact the story and you and everything else? For example, the title for this, I went back and forth between a couple, but what I learned in 2025 versus things I'm going to do going into 2026 mean functionally the same thing, but the vibe of one is more retrospective, which is fine, but I am looking forward. I want to move forward, which is why I chose something along the lines of what I am going to do in 2026. Thumbnails, on the other hand, tell you as an audience what you should know and what you should expect from the story. It tells you and confirms to your brain that what you are reading in the title is going to match what you're actually going to see. The thumbnails are kind of like the attention grabber. They're the trailer for these relatively short form content. You know, we say long form in the terms of it's not a reel or a TikTok video, but compared to like a movie, it's relatively short. So the thumbnail's kind of like the trailer. Once again, that's the attention getter. It embarrasses me to say that of the thumbnails for the videos I produced, the first video was fine. I got lucky. I took a picture of the Jeep that just happened to work as a thumbnail. The second video, you have no idea what that video is going to be about looking at the thumbnail. The third idea and the fourth movie, I took those pictures at the end of my time filming the Vagrant project, like a month and a half later. And even the Vagrant project, I started the Vagrant project with an idea of what I wanted the thumbnail to be, but I ended up taking the picture. So yeah, the thumbnail for the Vagrant video, had a great idea for it, Went all the way through the trip looking for that shot, never took it, always kind of put it off. And then I ended up getting a picture for the thumbnail that matches the vibe and the thoughts and the feeling and the emotion. I feel like there's a little bit of tension, a little bit of drama in there. It's real foggy and, you know, all of these things. But I was taken at a spot that I never went to on that trip. Like, not functionally. That I was at that location after everything was said and done. And it pains me because there are opportunities like the Caney Creek campground that I could have taken a banger thumbnail that would have done all the same things, but would have actually had bearing on the story. So yeah, I promise you guys that if you keep your thumbnail straight, you keep your title straight, and you approach the video with those in mind to begin with, you know the gear you're using inside and out, and you just go take the pictures and you just go take the video, I promise you, you guys will not recognize where you're at in a year's time. I don't recognize even where I'm at from 3 months ago, 4 months ago. And I hope that by me consciously making an effort to improve on these things, that for you guys, you'll see an improvement in my quality, and it'll make better content for you guys as well. So with that, I'll see you guys in the next video, and we'll see you next time.